Okay, welcome back. Again, we are still working on the integration of our thread pool system. Lee, what are we going to be doing in this video?
Seeing if we make things explode.
Awesome! My favorite part, really.
Yep. Fireworks are always good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we finished all the implementation tentatively. Whether or not we still have bugs in it is what we're about to find out. So I've built it out. I've jumped back into Unity, and I'm about to hit the Make It Explode button. But before then, a little bit of cosmetic. Let's go over here to main camera. We're going to set our background to black because this blue really sucks. I'm also going to shrink this down a bit. And, yeah, okay. Hit Control Save. Click on. I'm drawing it out. It's like on. I know everybody wants to see it work or blow up. All right, hit play. Ooh, look at this.
Oh, look at you go.
So it's queuing up our jobs. It's counting. It's already queued up over 5,000 jobs. We're currently at about 250 jobs.
They're jobges.
Jobses? Did I spell something wrong again?
Look, there are X number of jobges left to process.
Yeah. Well, that happens. And I'm waiting for
To string free up?
No. Yeah, that's in there again too.
Waiting for more threads to string free up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see what you're trying to say, really.
Yeah. It's some errors I never fixed. We'll get to that, but we're about to explode here very shortly. And there it is.
There you go. Kablam.
Right at about 1,000 threads being created causes Unity to explode.
Is that all you wanted to show?
Well,
I mean, were you like hoping that would happen?
I wasn't hoping. The moment I run this test and it doesn't explode,
you start to get worried.
I'm gonna get out and do a little jig and have some fun and party, because this is an error that came out when I believe it was 3.1 came out, and it's a known bug inside of Unity. This is the one that I've mentioned over and over and over again, and I've beaten into the ground, but I love to beat it into the ground. That inside of the Unity editor, for some reason, there's several problems that Unity has admitted that they've found and corrected a couple of, but there are several that they still have not resolved.
Yeah.
Which is causing some sort of garbage collection error. This is what that GC stands for. There's some sort of garbage collection error that is causing too many root sets to be set, which blows up the editor. Now, that is only the editor. I can run this exact same code in a standalone application, and it will not crash. Okay. I've run it out to 1 million jobs, each counting to 1,000. And I did not get this error. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now I'm going to open up Task Manager, because once this happens, you've pretty much bought yourself a reboot of Unity. So if you can go, you can just kill the Unity process for me.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to kill Unity, restart it. We'll go fix some typos.
And the Unity process is dead, so let's go ahead and fire that back up.
And then we'll go back into Scenes, Demo. And of course, I got to resize my window because we crashed Unity. All right, so let's go into Scripts, go in the Game Manager, go back to my thread pool. All right. Waiting for work. 0 threads now available in the job count. Hey, waiting for more threads
to string free up.
You gotta love that.
I do, actually. It's pretty awesome.
I think that was the one where ReSharper wigged out and was messing up.
Absolutely. Let's blame ReSharper. I love it.
It was.
I love it.
Well, it was that or the lag, one of the two.
It was totally ReSharper.
So there's that, and then
it was the lag compounded by ReSharper.
Yeah.
There's no way it was user error.
I think it was just a lack of alcohol in the system.
I understand. We'll have to get right on solving that problem.
Yeah, well, hold on. What is it, Wednesday?
It's actually, I think it's technically Thursday now.
Well, yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, it's almost the weekend. It's time to go pick up a six-pack or three
Yeah, it's the weekend
and enjoy
somewhere.
the weekend. All right, so that fixes those errors. Those were just cosmetic type errors, though. So let's go ahead. And I no longer.
We just lost Lee. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Just another connection problem.
Yeah, yeah. It's like around this time of night, Cox Cable likes to do rolling restarts of their equipment.
Sure, just in case
So,
anybody out there's a night owl that we really need to kind of step on their toes. So go ahead.
yeah. All right. So, basically, what I was saying is the changes that we made were just cosmetic. They're just fixing some dialogue displays.
Hmm.
What I want to do, though, here is jump back over into Unity, and I want to build this out as a standalone application. So we're going to do our build and run, hopefully.
Yeah.
Did that open up on another screen?
Probably this screen.
Yeah, that screen. That would be the one
That
that I
would
was
be
looking
the
for.
one.
Yep, so let's go ahead and build and run this. And, yep, make sure we're there. We'll call this demo. I'm so original with my names.
Yes.
I have hundreds of Unity demos on my application or on my hard drive. It's pretty bad. All right, so that's probably on another screen too. Nope. Well, that's right here. All right, so we're going to leave that right here. Now, this is a standalone application.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if it's flickering really bad on your side as
It
well.
is. It is flickering pretty bad, so I don't know how quickly or if anybody who's watching the video is able to see much, because if the frame capture is
timing.
catching just at the right moment, you're not going to see anything at all. But it's counting. It's up at about 500 now. And there's 600. That's, of course, number of threads, not iterations.
Right.
700.
Basically, we're trying to get past the 1,000 mark.
800. 900. 950. 970. 80. 90. There's 1,000 and ticking.
So, and
There's
it keeps on going.
1,100.
I figure we'll let it go to about 2,000.
Uh-huh.
Just for sake of argument. Now, we could pretty much let this run all night, but it'd probably be a pretty boring video for
Yeah, I imagine.
viewers.
I imagine.
So, but basically, all I wanted to show was the fact that if you make too many different threads inside of the editor, you will cause the editor to explode.
However,
But if you
it seems to
yeah,
work okay in standalone.
yes.
Okay. Up to what point, do you know?
I've tested out to 1 million.
Oh, well, then there you go.
So beyond that, I haven't really tested. I do know that with this implemented in the we've exceeded 2, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. But I do know that with this implemented in the terrain R&D back several versions ago,
yeah,
I ran it for I think it was a little over 36 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it never crashed. So it's pretty safe to say that that particular problem is an editor issue and not so much the engine itself.
Yeah.
So, but that basically proves that one point. Now, to wrap up pretty much this set of videos and to kind of segue into where we're going to go with the next set of videos, and kind of a teaser, is one of the limitations of this particular system. I had mentioned repeatedly that Unity is not thread safe at this point in time. And that continues to be true and probably will be true for the foreseeable future, at least until they do a complete rewrite of Unity.
Right.
So what that means for you, though, or as our viewers or people who want to implement threading in your programs is that if I were to comment this out, or try to, I might be losing you again.
Let's go ahead and pause just in case, okay? Okay, we're back, and Lee, you said you were about to comment something out.
Yeah, I want to try to jam through this as fast as I can before this gets any worse.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to comment out all of this code
Mm-hmm.
that we've got in here because this is our counting code. Don't really need it at this point in time. What I do want to do, though, is show the limitation of threading, or particularly any threading system that you want to implement inside of Unity, not just this one. So that being that you cannot access any of the Unity API stuff. It gets really upset with you. So if I were to try to do something like, just to be simple and not even keep a var, let's say not even that. Let's do game object. So implement Unity dot create primitive, and I want to create a primitive. Oh, come on. Primitive type dot sphere.
Okay.
So the code as implemented right now should create 10,000 spheres. I'm not worried about creating 10,000 spheres because we're never going to get there. So I'm not going to bother with the code. But if I were to go ahead and hit play and then stop it and look down here,
Ugh.
we got all kinds of errors.
Yeah, we do.
Basically, we are trying. This is kind of nice. They're actually giving us some errors that not used to seeing. Usually, it's a silent failure, so you'll get a failure and it won't tell you why. You'll just see that it tried to call something.
Right.
Basically, what we're trying to do is create or call some sort of Unity API call inside of a thread, and you cannot call any Unity API stuff outside of the main thread. It will just give you an error. So, matter of fact, error 37 on test worker thread. So if we jump back over in the code, yeah, it actually got to that part and pointed out that this was our error. So let's try something else. Let's go ahead and delete this. I'm going to uncomment this part. So let's try Control U. And for our thread report, it's coming out that. Let's go ahead and grab our game manager .transform, and it's a game manager. Game object. Game manager, game object. Still going to be a pain. Give me a sec.
Sure.
Var temp game object equals game object dot find game manager temp game object dot transform dot position toString. Nothing complicated here. Basically, we're going to go out, look for our game game object. What I'm looking for specifically is our game manager game object, which we specifically set at 0, 0, and 0. So nothing hard, just find it and then report back its position.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go over to code, clear this out, run this, we can't even do that. So error at line 29, error at 36. So if we go back in the code, 29 and 36 is pretty much the end of it. So, and I'm not even doing my sleep. But it won't let us even query the position or find an object. So all the base functionality that you would expect with Unity does not work from inside of any thread.
Okay.
So what we're going to have to do is to find a workaround to doing that. The cool thing is we've got the keys to do it right now because we have a priority queue, and that priority queue is generic enough that we can make multiples of them. Right now we're only using it for threads, but what if we were to take another one of these priority queues and create it inside of our game manager or another class, and we instantiate it and we run it inside of our main thread, and inside of that update we tell it to go ahead and process the next item inside of that queue. We've already proven with our thread pool that we can set up our priority queue in such a way that we can take in an anonymous method. We can send in functionality into our priority queue. So there is nothing that says that we can't then pass in some sort of Unity functionality, some sort of Unity API call inside of the priority queue, and then have that priority queue execute so many of those during an update. So we could play around with it, and we'll start off with just executing one API call per update. But then we can look at the possibility of initiating a time. So we can say up to a certain time slice in the update, as long as each of the API calls hasn't exceeded an allotted amount of time, run another one. And if we still haven't exceeded that time slice, keep running as many API calls as you can get until you get up to that time slice. So what we can do is, and a little bit more advanced, is possibly even start looking at our frame rate. So we can adjust, if we've got incredibly high frame rates, we can continue to run more operations. But if for some reason our frame rate starts to suffer, we could possibly suspend some of those operations or only run a couple of them every update. And then by doing that inside of our main thread, then we could implement some sort of mechanism that could possibly allow our other thread to wait for that to be executed. So it basically says, okay, I've got this. I need it to be executed before I can continue on inside of my thread. So you can put the thread to sleep, or basically have it sit and spin until it gets a response back from the priority queue that's handling all of these API calls, saying, okay, I've executed what you've asked me. You can keep on going.
Okay.
So, but that's going to be stuff that we're going to be looking at in the next set of videos.
All right. Well, does that wrap everything up here?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that will take care of this video. Thank you very much for watching.